Hi, my name is Amanda Giacalone, and this is my BI vendor presentation on NetBase solutions. NetBase is a popular social media analytics solution established in 2003 and headquartered in Mountain View, California. They have roots in Harvard and MIT and have 8 PhD on staff. Their data architect is the same person who created the communications infrastructure for stock, bond, and foreign exchange trading that is still used today by the largest firms across the globe. With the nature of social media, all of the information a company needs about what customers are feeling and thinking about a product or campaign is out there. The problem is how to access that information and make sense of it in a way that enables you to take action. As we know, the volume, variety, velocity, and veracity of big data creates endless challenges. NetBase allows companies to know what their customers are saying about them. Before services like NetBase, this was an extremely tedious process that could take weeks or months with unreliable results. NetBase uses 2 key elements to offer all of its products and solutions: Consumer Base, its enterprise data warehouse, and their natural language processing engine, or NLP. Consumer Base is their social intelligence enterprise warehouse that collects billions of conversations from millions of sources all over the web from all over the globe, including forums, blogs, reviews, news sites, Facebook, and Twitter. All of this information is available in real time, immediately, and on demand. Consumer Base maintains close to 27 months of historical data. This is key because it allows customers to not only look at what is happening now and evaluate any future success, but it also allows them to look back in history to see what has and hasn't worked in the past, even before they were a NetBase customer. This provides instant insights and benchmarks. NetBase's NLP engine is pretty impressive too. Unlike tools that determine sentiment based on statistical keyword matching, NetBase's NLP has the highest benchmark accuracy in determining not just sentiment at a much more accurate level, but opinions and emotions too. The problem with statistical keyword matching is that it's too simple to really understand language. If the system decides that happy indicates positive sentiment, it could still put the statement, "These new sunglasses could only make a grandma happy," into the positive category. We as humans understand that's not the case. NetBase's NLP is different because it reads and diagrams every sentence at a rate of more than 50,000 sentences per minute, identifying how each word is used in the sentence. What's a noun, a verb, an adjective, the object, etc. This is critical because, as we know, one word used as a verb can have an entirely different meaning when used as a noun. NetBase's NLP is able to take into account how each word is used and understand the meaning of a sentence much closer to the way that humans do, but at internet scale. It understands 45 languages as well as urban language. For example, "These sunglasses are so sick," as well as alternative and common misspellings, and even all of the weird abbreviations people are using these days, PERF for perfect or IMHO for in my honest opinion. It's this ability to understand language on the web in a significantly more accurate way that allows NetBase to provide all of its products and services. NetBase's analysis tools allow customers to solve real business problems fast. Using NetBase, their customers are able to monitor their brand health in real time, answer the why questions that previously required endless and often cost-prohibitive market research, understand their competitors in game-changing ways, capitalize on game-changing opportunities faster, both within their own products and based on their competitors' current situation, and ultimately save a lot of time and money figuring out what people are thinking about their company at any given second. NetBase allows its customers to get inside the heads of their consumers. Creepy, but extremely effective in coming out on top. These advantages have allowed NetBase to experience 300% growth year over year with their 60+ and growing world-class customers. These customers include global leaders in their industries like American Airlines, Kraft, Coca-Cola, Kenneth Cole, the Obama campaign, Jim Beam, and JD Power and Associates. NetBase offers many different products and solutions, so many that we won't be able to cover them all today. I've selected several to highlight for this presentation. It's worth noting that all of their products are rooted in the same fundamentals. They basically just differ on the types of insights provided and how they are presented. These fundamentals are agility, so you can make adjustments quickly; speed, having the information you need in real time and the associated ability to take immediate action; ease of use, a platform that anyone can use at all levels of the organization and immediately upon launch without any prior data experience; accuracy, the ability to understand web language in a more human way and in 45 languages; Flexibility, the ability to see the data you want to see on 12 immediately available and pre-configured dashboards. And lastly, configurability. So beyond those 12 canned dashboards, the ability to drill down and create different views based on the business needs. The 5 solutions that we'll touch on today are campaign tracking, issues tracking, new product launch, competitive intelligence, and Live Pulse, NetBase's mobile dashboards. Even though these are all considered unique solutions, you will see a lot of recurring themes and overlap as we discuss each product. In today's social media worlds, campaigns can often take on a life of their own. It's critical that a company understands how a message is being received and makes course corrections as needed. Often we create a message with a specific intent that ends up getting interpreted in a completely different way. Campaign tracking allows companies to measure the social impact of a campaign in real time, both before, during, and after the launch of that campaign. It also allows you to evaluate past campaigns with 27 months of data, so you can see what's worked and what hasn't in the past. Campaign tracking allows you to see where and when the majority of conversations are happening, referred to as geographic hotspots, and see exactly what customers are loving and hating about your message, including what emotions and behaviors are being evoked. Campaign tracking also identifies your key influencers. Who are the most influential authors on your campaign? These are the people with a lot of followers and high clout scores, meaning they have a greater influence on others in the social media world. Being able to identify your key influencers through NetBase allows you to understand not only what they're saying and what influence they're having, but also what these people do and who they are. Where do they live? Are they male or female, age, etc. Lastly, campaign tracking lets you see what is being said this very second about your campaign, where it's being said, and what impact it's having. NetBase positions issues tracking as protecting your brand equity. In the world of viral media, opinion and sentiment can change in a heartbeat. Issues tracking allows you to see when bad news for your company may be starting and to respond immediately, before it spreads like wildfire. It's basically an early detection system that allows you to get in front of something that can be really bad for your company. With issues tracking, you can track any number of topics that can be connected to your brand. Think healthcare if you're a presidential candidate, or E. coli if you're a meat manufacturer. Issues tracking tracks all of these topics in real time and allows you to see the total buzz and reach of that topic across the web. This provides insights into current sentiments and summarizes issues as they surface, along with where those conversations are happening. You can then drill down into the actual conversations and act accordingly. Similar to campaign or issues tracking, I warned you that there would be some recurring themes here. New product launch allows you to measure the social impact of a new product, once again, in real time. You can view and analyze awareness, perception, sentiment, and passion before, during, and after your launch. This is similar to the Starbucks example we discussed in class, where a new coffee was launched and Starbucks was able to determine immediately that the price was too high, lower the price quickly, and enjoy what was then a successful launch. New product launch allows companies to make course corrections like this immediately. This can mean changing the price, like the Starbucks example, adjusting the messaging, reaching out directly to dissatisfied customers, and even offering special incentives to your key influencers to encourage them to move the conversation in a positive direction. With new product launch, you can see all of the things customers like about a product and in what ratios, as well as the same information for what they dislike. Again, from the Starbucks example, they might have seen that 65% of the positive responses really like the taste, and 75% of the negative responses dislike the price. New product launch allows you to make the corrections needed before your competition has time to capitalize on your potential failure. You can also adjust messaging so it matches the way that your customers are actually talking about it. It allows you to speak in their language. Like the other solutions, you can see who your key influences are, identify geographic hotspots, and review conversations in real time. I think the competitive analysis solution is particularly interesting, as it allows you to basically spy on your competitors, although I don't know if you can call it spying when it's all publicly available information. NetBase likens it to getting your hands on the extensive and expensive market research report your competitor just completed. Imagine the difference that could have made before the world of social media. Business is all about competition and winning over the market share. The competitive analysis solution allows you to monitor your brand as it directly compares with your competitors. It allows you to quickly identify the gaps that exist between you and your competitor and ideally fill them first. Basically, your hope would be that your competitor is not using NetBase or a similar solution, giving you a significant competitive advantage when their brand is doing well or doing poorly. In the cases when they're gaining significant buzz or traction, you can try to neutralize their strategies that are so successful, or even identify where they're falling short and exploit their weaknesses. If they're headed towards a negative trend, you can jump in and fill in where they're letting people down. You can also identify their geographic hotspots and react accordingly, either by attempting to saturate their market or capitalize on areas that they're missing. LivePulse is NetBase's mobile data visualization board. It basically takes the information we've covered so far, plus more, and makes it available for view on your mobile devices. There's multiple dashboards available for view through LivePulse. Brand Pulse shows you real-time mentions so you know how many people are talking about you and if there's any unusual activity you need to be aware of. Geo Intensity shows the intensity of the conversation by state, country, or region. Emerging Topics shows you what topics are trending, and a most recent feature shows your current tweets as they happen so you know what's trending and what key influencers think right now, and anybody that you might want to reach out to. Competitor Pulse is similar but shows you whose messages are getting the most traction among you and your competitors. You can see in easy to understand graphics who is being talked about the most and who has the happiest customers. You can also see in real time the effect of your competitors' messaging and product launches so you can react accordingly. Image Pulse shows you the most shared images in, you guessed it, real time. This can allow you to spot any emerging crisis areas or opportunities. While unfortunately I'm not able to do a live demo today as part of this presentation, they pretty much only offer those to potential customers and in a live setting, I was able to get some really helpful screenshots that will allow us to look at what NetBase looks like in use. This is some screenshots for issues tracking. On the left you see a stream of what people are saying around salmonella. So you see some folks who have said things, some trending words, where it was said, how long ago it was said, and then some details on who these people are. So you can see their name, where they are, their clout score, how many followers they have, and whether what they're saying is negative or positive. On the right, you can see the filter on top is identifying what words they're looking to track, and then also you can indicate what time window you want to look at. So there's some pre-selected time ranges that you could pick, or you could put in a custom date range on the right there. In the summary, you can see how many posts there are with those topics, the average posts per day, the number of impressions, so how many people have seen those posts, whether they, or what percentage was positive and what percentage was negative. In the timeline, it's basically taking that data and showing you how it's trending over time, both for the positive and negative posts. Then the ever popular word cloud, so what are people saying around these two topics. Next to that, the influential authors, so the top authors based on their clout and followers. Below that, the geographic hotspot that we continue to talk about. And then finally, the domain, so where across the internet are people talking about these topics. Here's another example now of what campaign tracking could look like. So again, you have your filters on the top and a summary. So how many posts and how that's trending up or down, average posts per day, how many mentions, the total number of impressions, and percentage of positives and negatives. There's also a timeline similar to what we saw before, showing you how the mentions are trending over time, then also those positive and negative posts. In the likes and dislikes, we talked about this earlier. You can see for those people who like it, what is it that they like and at what percentages? And also for those who dislike it, what do they dislike and how does that break down? So for example, here, for those who like it, 27%, the majority like it because of the taste. And then for the dislikes, those who don't like it, 41% dislike it because of the taste, with 16% not liking it because it's bad for you, gives you cancer at 5%, etc. Moving down here, you can see the sources breakdown, so what's coming from blogs and social networks and forums, etc., as well as that similar breakdown of domains, the most popular domains that this information is coming from, where is your campaign appearing, as well as there's that geographic hotspots again, and the ever popular word cloud. So for this particular campaign, what are the words, what are people talking about, what are the recurring themes? Here is a word cloud for the product launch for the Doritos Loco Tacos. So if you're not familiar with word clouds, basically the larger the word, the more often it appears in posts. So for those posts with hashtag Doritos Loco Tacos, these are the other words that were associated with any time Doritos Loco Tacos appeared. You're probably sensing a theme here, and that's good. You should, because there certainly is one. This is the dashboard for, again, the Doritos Locos Tacos. It's showing you how many posts there were today, the total number of posts, and then as well as total number of posts for Taco Bell as a brand, not just the Locos Tacos, and then how it's trending today. So for the positive posts are actually increasing 6%, and negative posts are decreasing 3%. You can also see trending over the last 30 days for sentiment, net sentiment, and then broken down by positive and negative sentiment, and your buzz trend. So if you remember, this was for pre-launch. So obviously as time went on, the buzz was increasing because they were doing more for their pre-launch. And then those geographic hotspots, so where the conversations were happening. This is an example of brand pulse, so part of that live pulse dashboard that's available on your mobile devices. It's similar to the stuff that we've seen, it's just in a different format that is optimized for mobile. So you can see your mentions in the last hour and how that's trending, as well as impressions and net sentiment, again, all in the last hour, but also how it's trending. Your intensity by state, so if something weird is happening in a state right now, you can see that. And then also emerging topics, which is really important because something might emerge that you're not even aware of. And then some detail on the right of your most recent tweets and comments. And finally, here are two more examples of live pulse, the competitor pulse and image pulse. Competitor pulse on the left is comparing Nike with Adidas and Reebok. So you can actually see in real time how the three compare. And so as far as mentions go, you can see who's getting mentioned the most right now and how they're trending, who's getting the most impressions right now and how they're trending, net sentiment, etc. So even though you may be leading, you may notice a trend if you're Nike that Adidas's mentions and impressions are increasing really quickly. And that's something that you'd want to look at right away. On the right, we have image posts for McDonald's. So when people are posting hashtag McDonald's, are they posting with it? This is really critical because this is a great way to identify crises as they happen. What are people associating with your brand right now? There are endless examples of how NetBase has allowed companies to identify profitable opportunities and act on them quickly. Some cases show how companies learn that they didn't need to act, an insight just as valuable as those requiring action. Coca-Cola wanted to understand the effect of a new commercial put out by Pepsi that used popular Coca-Cola icons like the Santa Claus and polar bear. Would the commercial hurt their brand or affect their market share? Through the competitive intelligence solution, they were able to see that Coca-Cola customers were actually furious and borderline appalled by Pepsi's commercial. The Coca-Cola icons Pepsi was using were basically considered sacred by Coke's customers. Coke learned that the commercial was actually increasing and even driving loyalty to Coke. Pepsi's customers thought the commercial was either fun or lame. Coca-Cola was able to quickly determine that no action was needed, saving precious resources of time and money. Another example includes a cheese company that wanted to understand when people most enjoy cheese. They thought that people enjoyed cheese most in a barbecue setting, but wanted to use social intelligence to confirm that. Through NetBase's analytical tools, they discovered they were dead wrong. It turns out cheese actually gets the most buzz in the morning, breakfast. They learned that customers talk about omelets way more than they talk about cheeseburgers. As a result, there was a complete paradigm shift within the company. They worked on strategically moving cheese next to the eggs and dairy in the grocery store and developing commercials in breakfast settings. These insights changed the key positioning of the product moving forward and really their whole business model. The last example is the launch of the Doritos Locos Taco. Taco Bell wanted to create a pre-launch strategy that would ensure success of what would be their biggest launch in company history, the Doritos Locos Taco. Using the campaign tracking solution to analyze their pre-launch strategies, they found that 80 to 90% of the social media chatter for Taco Bell as a whole came from Twitter. The conversations about the new product was coming from both inside and outside their target market, which was not originally expected before seeing the data. They found that the biggest negative conversation driver was the inability to access the product. So what did Taco Bell do? They created a tweet off with their Twitter audience. The winner of the contest would receive an exclusive taco truck 1 week before the official launch of the product. This got people really excited, which shouldn't be a surprise given that it's basically the exact prescription that the data ordered. The result of their pre-launch strategy was an extremely successful launch. The net sentiment for Taco Bell as a brand increased by 20%. The launch sales were 2 times higher than any other launch in Taco Bell history, and post-launch sales predictions were remarkably accurate because they were based directly on the data from that pre-launch buzz. It's no surprise that NetBase thinks they're the best out there. According to NetBase, a third-party independent study by the Tomorrow Project found them to be the most accurate and fastest platform out there, with speeds up to 9 times faster than competitors and up to 70% increased accuracy. Unfortunately for NetBase, the independent reviews tell a different story. NetBase didn't even make it in the top 10 for social media analytics platforms on independent review sites G2Crowd.com or TrustRadius.com. While the overall scores were generally high, social media analytics is a crowded marketplace in and of itself, and people are consistently ranking competitors like MarketWatch and Crimson Hexagon higher on data availability, visualization abilities, and price. Interestingly enough, in a recent survey conducted by NetBase of their own customers, they found that customers feel NetBase really excels in ease of use and the ability to get started immediately. Where customers said NetBase is really lagging behind is on their visualization capabilities and data availability. Even though LivePulse is great for mobile devices, competitors are offering better and flashier visualization for the big screen. Companies are taking their data to trade shows, conferences, and fancy displays in executive suites and office lobbies. NetBase isn't quite there. In addition, even though NetBase is accessing those billions of conversations from millions of sites worldwide, there's still way more out there. In the world of BI, it's a constant challenge to keep up. 2 particular shortfalls are Instagram and YouTube, areas where NetBase can only access 7 days of past history, a significant downgrade from their 27 months of data from other sites. The information from this customer survey really matched what I saw on the independent review sites as well. My references are netbase.com, G2Crowd.com, TrustRadius.com, and a very helpful former colleague of mine, Jesse Stafford, who now serves as a solutions engineer at NetBase and was able to provide a lot of the context for this presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me at amanda.giacalone@colostate.edu. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.